Hi, I'm the college dropout who started a digital design and marketing agency, which is $55. Chipotle bowls for lunch on the daily, but now has 9 freelancers around the world and raked in $800,000 last year. All without doing any of the hard work, and here's how I did it. If I told you I built an $800,000 digital marketing agency without showing my damn face to 95% of my clients or doing the real work, you'd say, yeah, right. If I told you it's all from a bunch of $55 Craigslist ads, you'll claim it's a scam. Nope, no scams here, but you'll want to stick around for the side hustle that helped change my life for the best. 8 years ago, I was broke, had just totaled my car, stuck in my parents' basement, and was wondering how to drum up $5,000 to move out on my own and prove to my family that I wasn't a damn failure. You see, when you're an only child, all the spotlight is on you from both your immediate family and extended. You get compared to your spoiled rotten cousins, the successful offspring of your parents' coworkers, and any and everybody your family sees doing well at family functions. In Italian culture, they love to rub it in for a guy like me. And what burns the most is the family that passed on before they could see your flame brighten. In today's video, I delve deep into my background and reveal how I started my business with just $50. Not 50 grand, not $5,000, just $50 and a laptop that overheated every 2 hours. How you doing? I'm Andy, a college dropout, the kid who stared out the window in class, lost in dreams, who realized at an early age that he didn't want the boring life that he saw growing up. I wanted more. Whatever more was, I wanted it. And not to be an arrogant prick, but because it felt natural, almost like doing anything but not living out my dreams was the ultimate sign of failure. As if I was downgrading and accepting the rat race life. The day that broke me, laying in bed one night, endlessly scrolling on my phone for that next dopamine hit, I landed on an article of a police officer getting a $2 million court settlement, and I immediately recognized his face. I used to play ball with this guy from my old neighborhood. Face looked the same, and the last time we spoke, I almost fought him for trying to scam me out of $400 that he owed me on a bet. Now, I remember he mentioning joining the academy and going for training, but you know how people say things that never pan out. Fast forward 10 years and it seems he did and even became a high-ranking officer. My point is, I was pissed he was a millionaire before me by some stroke of luck or whatever court action he took. And while it was good to know the face, it sucked because I couldn't show my friends or family. Why? Because surely the next question would have been, and look how your life turned out. I sulked around for a few days because how did this guy become a millionaire, and here I am busting my ass, brokering deals here and there, grinding with different entrepreneurial angles, and someone who I had known who didn't even have high life goals, or at least when I knew him, can walk into a bank now and see 2 commas in his damn account. What the actual fuck? Anyhow, I kept it to myself, stopped being a hater after a few days after realizing he's not better than you. He simply got to the next life level before you. After that breakthrough, all the moments where I had let myself down or didn't live up to my self-expectations popped into my head, and I couldn't shake that feeling of despair. I remember the time I had this gorgeous online pen pal in Colorado that flew to my state just 30 minutes away for her doctor's dissertation ceremony, and I had to pretend I was out of town. Why? Because A, I was too broke to meet up with her, and B, I was too chicken shit to see her in person. Oddly enough, years later, I would see her walking with her boyfriend, some Abercrombie Fitch looking Viking type, across an intersection downtown. The second instance was when I missed my 20-year high school reunion because I had just lost my job 3 weeks prior to the date, and I was struggling to get back on my feet. Or the last time when I never went to my prom because I ran my mouth off for months but never saved up for a limo as I had promised everyone. The bottom line was that there was a pattern, and no matter what we tell, sell, or contrive for the world, deep down we know the truth. My issue was lack of discipline when it came to savings, lack of focus when it came to my goals, having too many pots on the stove, and living in delusion of grandeur. You know, it's an amazing feeling being busy. So busy yet getting absolutely nowhere. So one day I looked around and realized my parents were getting older, and if anything happened to either one of them, I had no car if there was an emergency, and I didn't even have a suit for, God forbid, the inevitable. Of all the people or bad luck circumstances I could blame, the blame was no longer worth the effort. I needed a change, and fast. The spark that lit the flame, that change came from the most unlikely source. An ex-girlfriend I detested. Like, just hearing her damn voice annoyed me. Yup, one day just in passing, I ran into her coming out of the train station, and somehow she mentioned this website called Fiverr and mentioned how I could create a profile and sell anything. Now, I didn't think I had any expertise to sell, but that night I did check it out. I saw everything from graphic designers to video editors to comic book illustrators to even random people sending happy birthday to you as a video postcard gift from the jungles of India. This was wild. Either it's gonna be a bust or the start of something great. Regardless of how wild some of the gigs were, they were making money and I wanted in. Fortunately, I had a sales background stemming from a telemarketing stint, but opted to try a more unique approach. What was it? I decided to be the broker or middleman for people needing these services, and I would be the go-between. Why not? It's good money, other people would do the work around the world, and I would simply close the client deals. Not only that, I had lots of sales experience and even brokered high-end cars, boats, and almost a house before from my early 2000s days on Craigslist and then Facebook Marketplace when it kicked off. Here's a quick trip down memory lane. I knew I was genuinely tired of the work, hustle, grind, hustle more, one small victory, then blow the money and right back to the work, hustle, grind, hustle routine. My life up until then was constant anxiety of chasing money rather than having it come to me. See, I used to laugh at guys with regular 9-to-5 jobs, but deep down, I craved their peace of knowing they at least had a check coming in 2 weeks. I needed consistent money flow, and I knew I needed to work smarter for that in life, and thus I needed a change. This seemed doable. I could do it in my spare time while still on the hunt for a solid 9-to-5 job and use it to pay off some credit card debts, get a new car, date, and just breathe easy again. So I figured I'd start advertising on Craigslist for the most popular services in the top areas and just jump into the fire as a newbie and see how far it would take me. Show me another side hustle that could take you from this to this in less than 36 hours. Side Hustle Ninja Pro can. Watch one of my newest students, Mark, recording himself while closing an $8,200 deal with a client who emailed him just the day before a large video ad campaign project.
So at 25 minutes duration, we're looking at 8,200, 50% gets this ball rolling.
Gotcha. Okay. So what can you take, I guess, use credit card, PayPal type thing?
Yeah, I'd shoot over an invoice to you in about 10 minutes.
Yep, and here's his 50% deposit paid for work he's simply gonna outsource around the world. Hey, this is Andy. Side Hustle Ninja Pro is for real people that want out of the rat race ASAP, but are more so the introverted type. Now, take Lauren, a former healthcare agency liaison hating her boring cubicle job, who grabbed my beginner's course with 0 sales experience, and after 18 days, she had her first client. Now, she has 4 monthly retainer clients, mostly in the roofing and HVAC niche. She hit $300K 2 years ago and quit her day job. Results like these are achievable with Side Hustle Ninja Pro because I broke the course down to various levels for, first, those just curious how design agency outsourcing basically works with my 7-step video toolkit. Second, then those actually ready to start, I show how to close your first several paying clients with my starter toolkit that could help bring in $400 to $6,000 jobs. And third, for those ready to go all in, I show how to scale and lock down the bigger clients with monthly recurring retainers of $1,500 to $10,000 with my beginner's course. So if you need something that doesn't take months to understand, click the link below, get started today. The struggle, winding roads and roadblocks. So I dived in, researching and watching others that posted multiple times a day on Craigslist, looking how they structured their ads, researching the top cities for tech, emerging markets, where in the country had top earnings potential, etc. I crunched all that data and decided to get busy or die trying.
Get busy living, or get busy dying.
What did I do? I scripted out my ad and made a rinky-dink ad posted to 11 cities for $55 and started with that. A few days went by and emails started coming in. Some were spam, others were nothing burgers. I ran across an adult webcam model from the Pennsylvania area that requested a new online banner, paid $125, and as you can see here, I tried doing it myself and butchered it. Back then, I was so stoked just to have a client that I took on any and everything from annoying clients that just wanted to be on the first page of Google, whom I later found out wasn't paying his $10,000 per month bill to a top New York City SEO agency, to accepting grandiose clients that actually needed full on staff and thus ended up running myself ragged. The latter was a client I had gotten super close to, as she was a former cheerleader and now mom with twins, married to a cop outside of Chicago and looking to create a health and wellness brand to help postpartum moms lose their belly fat. Well, it started out great, but the constant hand holding and wanting to overperform for her sucked up all my time with this one client. In the span of 2 years and over $12,000 later, I had created 2 massive websites for her, helped her become more business minded, created her entire course, designed 2 recipe cookbooks, rolled out her social media brand strategy, and set up her morning boot camp workshops that were starting to take off. Why? Because with great clients, you generally want to see them win, but also because of purely ego. You also want to see all your hard work pay off. The house of cards came tumbling down, as I suspect this new business took a toll on her marriage, and because of these arguments, she pulled the entire plug right as it was on the uptick. While I understand that family comes first, the lesson was that it's not your dream, it's theirs, and to never rely on just one client at any given moment. Mistake after mistake, headache after headache, I had become disciplined not to mix my clients' money with my profits. I soon realized most contractors make the same error. They will commingle a client's deposit with their own debts, bills, etc., mismanage it, and then have to onboard another client, even at a dismal rate, just to cover the initial job. This leads to dangerous territory where you're falling behind and robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sooner than later, the 2 projects start to lag and the client realizes it's affecting your output and they jump ship or start requesting refunds and chargebacks. Then you have the high-strung clients that believe this one sales flyer or marketing campaign is gonna pull their business back from the brink of total failure. It's not, but they've already convinced themselves in their mind that it is, and thus they need you to treat it as if your life depended on it. They're often very likable at first, but when you see the little red flags, run. I have a client like that who reached out a few years ago during the pandemic, a roofer that acted more like a gopher of his company in the sense that he wanted everything but the kitchen sink on these roofing flyers and still wasn't satisfied. This leads to revisions after revisions, upcharges galore, and when he's done, you're just relieved that the project's done. Well, in this case, apparently the flyers worked out well for him. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago, this guy called me from an Arizona number saying he has been in prison for the last 9 months and needed more changes to his flyer so he could drum up some money to get back on his feet. And there you have it. I suspect he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. One client with an $11,000 VSL funnel project once taught me a very valuable lesson. You see, I used to mainly listen to the clients on their feedback, add a few tweaks, and copy paste it all to send over to the freelancers, get back the project draft, and discuss with the client. Well, one day over a Zoom call while reviewing the work, I mentioned to the client, just let me know what else you think is missing or any suggestions. And he responded by saying, well, that's why we contracted with you. And it stung a bit after we ended the call because essentially I had pitched myself as the pro with all the experience and answers. Here, my ninja mask was kind of revealed that I'm deferring to the client versus guiding the client to a successful conclusion. After much thought, I realized he was right. If you pitch yourself as the pro, you have to keep up the persona or, at the very least, research that industry to know how the project should look at its various stages. Sadly, not even 2 weeks later, that client disappeared, and after a few follow-ups and brush-offs, I never heard from them again. That sucked, as they paid a total of $24,000 in the span of 3 months just from 2 projects with more projects to come. Glad I saved most of their last deposit prior to them going radio silent. Transformation. I started realizing I was nothing more than a hamster on a wheel, and because I didn't have the appearance of a big-time agency, I was being paid peanuts. Thus, I only ate what I killed if I wasn't glued to my email or phone 24/7. I was missing out. I realized that people, no matter how nice they are, will pay you pennies if they assume you're on a specific tier. While if you assume a higher tier, they will gladly pay you more or stretch their own pennies further to afford your services. So I started mapping out ways I could climb higher up the food chain, and for me, the next step was to become a larger presenting agency. This meant a full on-top tier website, a roster of go-to freelancers I could trust, official contracts, and more professional invoicing tools. I started advertising myself online as a one-stop shop of all things design and digital marketing related, and soon after, one newly funded startup founder down in Atlanta who told me I had a novel idea, and he started blurting out his business idea and telling me that if I was more local, he would offer me a $90,000 job ASAP. This and a few other instances gave me the realization that most companies wish that they had an in-house graphic/web design and social media marketing team down the hall, but they couldn't afford one. Thus, I would fill that void. Coupled with an easygoing manner, a willing to listen, giving soft pushback when needed, and helping to cultivate the client's dream, this became my niche and a steady stream of clients. Clients love being able to brain dump on you their garbled idea and then have a workable MVP or conceptual markup in 12 to 36 hours. It's like a rush of dopamine to their system. Even just the ordinary Joe with a dream of being a startup entrepreneur will latch onto you if he feels you could bring his idea to life. This reminds me of an Indian engineer by day, but was hitting all the local startup networking events, drove me to his home where I sat down at his kitchen table with his young kids running around, showing me sketches of his dream. An all-in-one solar-powered recycling trash unit that he wanted me to design and 3D illustrate. Or the group of Arab businessmen wanting to launch an all-electric hyper engine and needed a professional-looking set of illustrations they could take to go hunt for investment financing. Hell, I even ran across a disgruntled Irish contractor who did plumbing and driveway seal coating but hated his boss. So He and his brothers decided they would start their own side business under 3 different company names and drive the boss out of business. We met at a train station, and after looking me up and down, he reaches into his pocket and hands me $1,200 cash as a down payment to start on the first project. This included a generic website, business cards, canvassing flyers, postcards, and a logo. After this, the other 2 company sites were needed, and while it was fun to work on, it was ultimately done just for his ego. And after his brother told me they forced the owner's hand and all got huge raises, he called to have me remove all the websites and that he was a happy camper. Weird but true story. All in all, I don't regret the bumps and bruises along the way. Why? Here's why. Right here. And this. And this. And this. Can't forget more of this. I've started enjoying life again in the last 5 years. I've started ticking off places on my bucket list, had the unobstructed time to check in with family a lot more, and just genuinely do more. You realize that while more money doesn't make you directly happier, it affords you the extra time to do what you want when you want and take family and friends with you. I'm far from the flashy type, but nice things and creating lasting memories is really what many of us really want. To find something you're good at, that's not sleazy and provides a valuable service to others. Helping them succeed is a truly uplifting feeling. I mean, some days I wake up around 11 a.m., check my emails, have feedback or instructions for my freelancers on the various projects, and just randomly start my day when most are rushing to and from their lunch breaks. I'm just casually not feeling the anxiety of having to be anywhere at a certain time. No boss to answer to, no time card to punch in, no office politics to mentally maneuver. That stuff is foreign to me, and because of no longer being on that hamster wheel, I look at the world through different lenses. Not better, just different. You start to wonder how you just narrowly escaped the life your parents and their parents never could. Look, life will always life. The real winners are the ones that re-engineer how they choose to run the race. So you could choose to bang up your body outpacing everyone, or you could outthink everyone and simply fly over the entire damn rat race. The core mindset shift. We live in a globally connected world with loads of technology at our disposal. So it's only right for those of us who are introverted, dreaming of an entrepreneurial endeavor, or simply can't find a high-paying job in their niche, to try outsourcing. Once you have others doing all the work, the overall concept of financial freedom is simple when you do the math. Here you have person A with a high-paying job. Most likely they toiled through college, earned a bachelor's, a bunch of certifications, have a sick resume, and a bunch of well-heeled LinkedIn contacts to make any recruiter blush. They're pulling in $80,000 per year, putting in 40 hours per week, sometimes more if you count being tied to their phone. They wake up each morning at 7 a.m., out the door fighting traffic, and heading to the office by 9 a.m. to sit in a cubicle or some cushy corner office for the next 8 hours. Then back home, rinse and repeat. That $80,000 a year check is actually $6,400 per month before taxes, roughly $1,600 each week, and averages out to $40 an hour. This person feels drained, often overlooked by their boss, subject to the ebbs and flows of the market for job stability, but thinks they're a success because they have a cubicle office, a snazzy little title, a few blue chip stocks with a BMW. Now here's person B that's been seeing minor success with outsourcing, digital graphics, and marketing for a year because they couldn't land an interview in the tough economy. They're working for 4 hours per day max and landing $2,000 to $6,000 jobs 3 to 4 times per month. They've applied themselves, used all the tools, scripts, and cheat sheet guides from my Side Hustle Ninja Pro course. They wake up at 10 a.m. and by 3 p.m. have knocked out the heavy lifting, free for the rest of the day to hit the gym, go to the park, binge watch Netflix, go to escape rooms, medieval times, Topgolf, or Dave & Buster's just because there's no line. My point is that the average beginner could pull in the same 80K with only 15-hour work weeks as person A. Now, if that's possible, imagine when you hit your stride and level up to, say, an intermediate status of 3 recurring monthly clients paying a basic $1,500 plus 2 $4,000 clients per month, which is $150K per year. Life becomes more agreeable at $12K per month, doesn't it? Now, imagine having 3 recurring clients at $3,000 per month and closing 2 $6,000 clients per month. You've now hit $250,000, making more than your family and friends, most likely in the top 8% of earners in the nation, and success starts to look good on you. The biggest shift wasn't just about money. It was realizing income should buy freedom, not stress. Now clients won't always hit on a regular frequency, obviously, and not everyone's strategy will pan out this way each week. Just stating facts here, but that's where strong marketing comes into play. But the concept of outsourcing your way to large chunks of income quickly is more than doable, and many others are doing so every day.
Side Hustle Ninja Pro is transparent as hell. Well made, easy to follow, and Andy shows you his actual back-end correspondence with real clients. So you can copy him, or like me, put your own spin on it.
The invitation. Believe it or not, becoming financially free, secure, or whatever you want to call it, changes the way people interact with you. With family, you wind up having the final say, and with friends, your place is always the top choice for the backyard get-togethers. After seeing the crappy middleman course my ambitious young nephew found online, I took 2 years slowly putting together the most non-scammy, non-scummy, real life for real people, transparent online course that could ever online course if an online course could woodchuck chuck. Hoping you got that corny reference. Anyway, that's why I built Side Hustle Ninja Pro. It's the exact roadmap that I use to turn my outsourcing side hustle into consistent income and gave me the lifestyle that I wanted. You don't have to guess or make the mistakes I did. So I created the 7-step video toolkit if you're just curious. 7 short videos giving you an overview of how this side hustle works at each level. This starter toolkit if you're ready to get your feet wet. This basic toolkit provides actual ad templates you could use, the video toolkit, and a deal flow roadmap to understand the basics of a client deal, and even a heavy file of 100 plus design templates you could use for your initial client projects to save you time and money. Or this beginner's course if you'd prefer to dive right in. Everything in the starter toolkit plus actual email and phone scripts you could copy paste to help you close your deals with ease. My personal posting strategies, tips and tricks from a pro, my top free useful links for any agency owner, and an intro video walking you through each step, complete with behind the scenes client correspondence and my initial portfolio. And my latest creation, the ultimate 9-to-5 killer, my Q&A catfishing cheat sheet that gives you all the proper questions to ask when you interact with your clients over the phone or email, plus the answers to their typical questions, even the prices you should charge. A glossary of the terms of each niche so you sound like a pro even when you're really not. Thus the catfishing concept, and I even included a hot list of 137 freelancers around the globe whom many I've worked with, so you know you don't have to spend hours hunting only to be disappointed with some $200 freelancer delivering $5 quality work. I broke it down by their country of origin, where I ranked them skill level wise, and by their specific niche. It's everything you dream of when choosing an online course, and while it took me 6 years to scale to $720,000, you could use this knowledge dump to scale much faster than I. Furthermore, that laid the groundwork for me to break $1.6 million this year solely from my outsourcing agency. And I say this as a college dropout that found his lightning in a jar, not for any bragging rights, so just know that. If you stuck around this long, awesome. I left a few goodies in the description of this video, and I hope that you really take action with them. Look, the world has become a slightly darker place. People are losing their jobs left and right. So I love hearing success stories from other college dropouts or recently laid off hard workers out there who decided to quit the rat race and figure out other ways to beat the system. Carpe diem, folks. Carpe effing diem.